Hey guys, today I want to show off my Walther Q5 match steel frame. Of course, how can you have a Q4 steel frame without a Q5 steel frame, right? So first thing first, safety check. Alright. So yeah, I actually got this Q5 steel frame much before Q4, and this is probably the second or the third gun that I bought. So I bought it fairly early. Um, when I first saw this gun, I didn't know too much about guns back then, and then I was deeply, attracted by the look, purely the look of the gun, just because of the the ports on the slide. And back then I was like, damn, this looks so badass, so cool that I have to get it. So that's what actually got me purchase this gun in the first place. I did not think about steel frame. I did not think about the actual weight, the shootability, and the overall quality of this gun. I was initially just purely attracted and amazed by the the appearance of this gun, and especially the slide. And then afterwards I started to appreciate it more and more after I knew more about this gun. And this is just a fantastic weapon. So let's see, this is very similar configuration as my Q4. Not a whole lot of difference. For example, the brass black coated grips from Lock Grips, extra weight, super heavy because it's brass. And then the steel magwell and mag base plate from Walther. They are Walther factory ones for extra weight. And extended mag release button from Walther, and the trigger from Overwatch. So color wise, this is a little bit kind of a blue touch on it, so that it looks not so boring as all pure black compared to the Q4. And accessory wise, the Streamlight as my standard go-to, and the red dot is a SIG Romeo 3XL. So it's a huge red dot. I think it's a pretty common red dot for open guns, if you will, for the frame mount. And over here is, and not so much commonly seen as a red dot mounted at the back of the slide. And it's very expensive. This one I think is somewhere between $600 to $700. And of course, because of the size, the field of the view is really good. You can see a lot from this one. I think several drawbacks. For example, you can see how high it is sitting up there, and probably wouldn't matter that much if it's used for a open gun, right? But I still, I would say that is a drawback. I would love it to be sitting lower, but and secondly, price, and thirdly, what bothered me was like when I during my first range session, after I zeroed it, my experience was it was not holding zero for the first 100 rounds after I zeroed it, right? First 100 rounds after I zeroed it, it was not able to hold zero for some reason. I checked, nothing was moving around, and nothing was loose, and I was kind of baffled by it. I'm like, how can such an expensive red dot doing things like that? And then after 100 rounds, I re-zeroed it and those kind of things, and then it went fine. And I actually haven't shot a lot afterwards. I don't know exactly how many more rounds it will hold zero, but that actually worried me, right? For such an expensive red dot, I expected the quality to be super good and top of the line, and the reliability, stability to be, really top notch. So I'll probably observe more, and hopefully it doesn't let me down. And if for whatever reason it just can't hold zero, I would need to, return it to SIG and figure it out. I hope not. So similar to Q4, as you can see, the factory red dot plate from Walther, as you can see, is like super thick, super thick and high. And I think is, partially due to, Q4 and Q5, they are relatively older compared to other modern, striker fire pistols, like I mentioned in the video of Q4, compared to PDP and all the other modern pistols where they, nowadays start to value super thin plays and, low sitting red dot. So, from this perspective, a little kind of minus points for me. How come your plate is so thick and so high? And the other thing is, the Q5 is standard is 15 rounds, is odd. It's supposed to be 17 rounds by default, without even the extension. So yeah, that's another drawback, but it doesn't bother me too much, because to me this is a range toy. Oh yes, the sport takedown lever, as I mentioned in the Q4 video, I put the same thing here. So that's pretty much about it. It's a really good shooting gun, and I really enjoy shooting it. Super heavy, well balanced because of the actual weight I put in there. Trigger, same thing, super crisp. I think it's better than the factory one, even though the factory one is already really good out of the box. Yeah, I can't think of any other stuff that I don't like. And I know one of the comments that I saw from my other videos is, some law enforcement, they would carry this, which I don't know if they carry a Q5 polymer grip, I would totally get it. But for this one, I think it's still just way too heavy. This is already feeling really heavy without any bullets. So if you are fully loaded, it will be so heavy that people might find it very uncomfortable, especially for this heavy build, targeting range toy, or I don't know, competition, but probably even not competition. Competition people probably don't want the gun to be that heavy, cause it's slower, to transition from one target to another. What I'm thinking is what other things I can do about this gun. The last thing I could think about is probably put a either a threaded barrel here, and then with a really low profile small compensator, and then just to have fun with it, or order a ported barrel from Jarvis. And Jarvis, they did mention that they currently have the ported and threaded barrel for the Q5, the older version, the what do you call it, the polymer grips, right? For steel frame, apparently is different. I think in regards to the slide and the frame and the barrel, it's different. So the barrel that they made for the polymer grips will not work for steel frame. So they mentioned on their website that later on they will release something for the steel frame. So I probably will buy it once they have that available, and just to have fun, because I want to try different kind of crazy things, and yeah, just have a good time. So that's pretty much about it. Really large red dot and a really heavy gun. Thank you for watching. See you next time.